Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to MYC Uncensored, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Satini, and today we will be discussing a topic submitted by a young person, which is being a people pleaser. So, put your hand up if you think that you're a people pleaser. I think that I used to be, but I've kind of gotten out of the habit. But yeah, we'll go more into that. So if you don't know what a people pleaser is, they're usually seeking approval and trying to make others happy, usually putting other people's needs and desires ahead of their own. They also have a strong fear of rejection. They're conflict avoidant, which basically means they avoid disappointing others. And if they are in that situation, then they probably wouldn't be able to deal with it effectively. And while it can be positive to prioritize the well-being of others and be caring and thoughtful and helpful, being a people pleaser can also have a negative consequence on the person themselves, such as neglecting their own self-care, feeling overwhelmed or resentful, and lacking assertiveness in setting boundaries. So it is important for people pleasers to find a balance between caring for others and prioritizing their own well-being. But then why do people please? There are various reasons, right? So one, there could be a fear of rejection. As I said earlier, some individuals may have that fear of being rejected or abandoned, so they prioritize making others happy in order to ensure their acceptance and avoid conflict. Also, that fear of rejection can stem from negative childhood trauma, so growing up with a guardian that probably only had negative responses or a negative reaction towards your, whatever you did when you were younger. So it's little things like that can contribute to others wanting the approval of others, and they just want to be liked by everyone. Another is a need for validation, which ties in with the first one, basically seeking validation and approval from others as a way to boost their self-esteem and sense of self-worth. So pleasing others can be a means of receiving positive feedback and reinforcing their identity. Another is avoidance of conflict. I said this again. So they often dislike confrontations and disagreements. They may go to great lengths to keep the peace and maintain harmony in their relationships, even if it means sacrificing their own needs and desires. Another is probably cultural and societal expectations, which I think plays a really big role. And yeah, it can contribute to people-pleasing behavior, because many cultures, like you can even reflect on your own culture, some cultures emphasize the importance of respecting and pleasing others, especially those in power, authority figures, maybe like the elders and all. So stuff from your culture can definitely have an impact on how you treat others around you in the world. Another is habitual behavior. So it can become a habit for individuals, like just secondhand nature, which they may have learned from an early age that putting others' needs before their own is the right thing to do, or that it is expected to do, and it just becomes part of their personality over time. And look, of course there are positive intentions out of it, but these positive intentions can lead to negative consequences. So it means the individual continuously prioritizing the needs of others, which can lead to self-neglect, burnout, and a lack of personal fulfillment. Let's look at scenarios of people pleasers. So first scenario, let's say Her name's Sarah. Sarah is a people pleaser who constantly agrees to take on extra duties on at work, even if it means sacrificing her own personal time and well-being. And she's a people pleaser because she has the fear of disappointing her coworkers and being seen as incapable. So she's constantly going above and beyond to meet their expectations, which, even though in a workplace you should be doing the amount of work that you can do, you know, you have colleagues for a reason. So getting assistance from them, the support from your organization is very important instead of taking on those extra duties just for that fulfillment in yourself. Yeah. And then another is, let's say, Mark. Mark is a people pleaser who often avoids conflict and always strives to keep the peace in his relationships. He frequently suppresses his own needs and desires in order to satisfy others, fearing that asserting himself may lead to rejection or abandonment. So I think in this scenario, it's more than just people pleasing. There's also the sense of attachment and, as I said, that fear of rejection or abandonment, not wanting, if like, whether it is a romantic relationship, like not wanting to be single again, or a family relationship, just wanting the family members to stay in contact with you, or a friendship kind of relationship, just wanting to still have friends and not have them dislike you. So that's one. And we'll do another one, which I think can resonate with a lot of people. Jane. Okay. So Jane is a people pleaser who is afraid of disappointing her family's high expectations. She complies with their demands and expectations, even if it means sacrificing her own dreams and ambitions. She fears rejection and failure and thus ends up living a life that is not aligned with her own true desires. And of course, when it comes to family expectations, it can be different for everyone. Some individuals, to them it's very important for their family to be accepting of them, and of course you want to be accepted, but there's that strong bond to the point where you're not willing to lose that, or even just take any risks to kind of destroy that family bond. But yeah, that people pleasing aspect that maybe some of you have, where you want to do a certain thing, but you're afraid that your mom or your dad or whoever might disown you or something for whatever reason, which is understandable, and it's easier said than done to just, go for your own dreams and stuff. But yeah, I think it's important to kind of reflect. So if you feel like any of those kind of resonate with you, and you're slowly starting to think like, wow, some of these behaviors I've done, and I didn't realize that I have been like putting other people's needs ahead of mine, then let's talk about it. How can we stop being a people pleaser? And I don't think, to an extent, we can stop completely, but then again, there is a difference between being a people pleaser and just being a really nice and kind person. But it involves developing healthier boundaries, building self-confidence, and understanding your own needs and wants. And how do we do that? So one is recognizing the pattern, so acknowledging that you are a people pleaser and understand how it affects your life. So reflect on the reasons why you feel the need to constantly please others. And as I said, the scenarios I mentioned earlier, and kind of the definition earlier in this podcast, so you can kind of use some of those points to reflect on the reasons why you may feel the need to please others. Number 2, understand your own needs. Take some time to identify and prioritize your own needs, values, and beliefs. Ask yourself what is truly important to you and what brings you happiness. This might not be an easy step because you're going to have to think about yourself, right? And usually you're not thinking about yourself. So no matter how long it takes, even taking a few minutes out of every day to sit, reflect, with the help of journals, self-help books, stuff like that, to for you to really get within yourself and understand who you are as a person, what you need, how you live your values, and what you believe in, and believe in like what you deserve in this world. And number three is set boundaries. So learn to say no when necessary. Boundaries are essential for maintaining your mental and emotional well being. Remember that it is okay to prioritize your own needs and to decline requests or demands that do not align with them. Learning to say no will be very hard in the beginning, especially if you're what is considered a yes man. So, those that say yes to everything. But I think if you set little goals for yourself, it can be really, really small. Just saying no to your sister or a friend and saying, look, even at work, no, I can't take this on. I have other things to do. Sorry, I can't. And that's it. You know, stuff like that. Another four, number four, build self confidence. So work on developing your self confidence and self esteem. Recognize your strengths, celebrate your accomplishments, and embrace self care practices. When you have confidence in yourself, you become less dependent on external validation. And this is where the whole self love comes in, putting yourself first, doing things for yourself, which is really important. Number five is practice self compassion. Being kind to yourself and practice self compassion. Accept that you have your own limitations and make mistakes like everyone else. Treat yourself with care and understanding. And that's a really good one, because even if we try to be as perfect as we can, there's no such thing as perfect. We're human, we make mistakes, we'll always make mistakes. But that's where you have to realize it within yourself, that it's okay to have these limits and not be able to do everything and be there for everyone. Next one, number six, is communicate assertively. Learn to express your thoughts, feelings, and boundaries respectfully but assertively. Practice effective communication techniques such as using I statements and expressing your needs clearly. Again, this might take time, but if you really prioritize these kind of steps, then you will definitely learn how to set your own boundaries with other people and kind of become less of someone that's a people pleaser. And then number seven, surround yourself with supportive people. Surround yourself with individuals who respect and appreciate you for who you are rather than just for what you do for them. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. And that is a really good one, because I think that it is okay to be to inconvenience others. You have the opinion just like them. You don't have to agree to the terms, and it doesn't make you a bad person. You can say no anytime you need or you want to. And depending on who it is that you're saying yes to all the time, it'll become a thing for them. You, as a people pleaser, for them, they'll feel like they have an entitlement from you. So it kind of goes both ways, depending on who the people is around you. But if they're supportive, then they won't care. You can't befriend everyone, and there's people who's gonna be uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, it's not your problem, and you have to just focus on your own needs first. And then the last one is prioritize self-care. So make self-care a priority in your life. Engage in activities that bring you joy, relaxation, and personal growth. Take time to recharge and care for yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. And as I said earlier, that whole self-love and self-care is so important, because when you experience these little happy moments that make you really appreciate um all these things that you actually love, then that's when you'll know, like, wow, if I wasn't doing all this stuff for other people, um then I wouldn't be able to experience this, or I would have had more time to do these lovely things for myself, like going for walks, or getting a facial, or something like that, or just spending more time with people that you love. Those 8 steps are a great way to begin developing the healthier boundaries and building that self-confidence, and the best way to start understanding your own needs and wants. Of course, it won't take a day, or a few minutes to learn that within yourself and kind of break those habits of people pleasing. But as long as you dedicate your time to really allow yourself to kind of discover who you are as a person, and break these habits of people pleasing, then for sure at the end you get to a point where you have broken that habit. And like I said, it'll take time and practice. You just have to be patient with yourself and celebrate every step forward. So celebrate the little achievements, because at the end of the day, it won't be just something little. It'll be something big that changes your whole life. And before we finish, as I said in the beginning of the episode, that I feel like this is someone who I was before, wanting validations from those around me, and always putting them first and all. But I think it came to a point where I was just mentally exhausted and gone, right? I just didn't have it within me anymore. And literally one day I just said, yeah, like, I have to put myself first. I'm tired of feeling so drained and emotionally, like, exhausted. So, was it easy? I'm gonna tell you straight, I don't really remember. I think it, depending on the type of person you are, I think I was very resilient. So I was able to almost immediately just be like, yep, like, I'm putting myself first, and if you don't like it, then who cares, or whatever. Which thankfully I'm surrounded by a lot of positive and supportive people, so it wasn't like I really lost anyone in the process, which some people do, and it wasn't like an expectation from others. Not to say that I'm not a nice person, and like I wouldn't go out of my way to do stuff for people, but that's when you, like, also learn the difference between, like, hey, this is a nice gesture for them, like, this is just part of who I am. But then the other part, people pleasing, is just constantly looking for ways to kind of get that validation from others. There's a huge difference. Eventually when you get there, you kind of learn and know. You can also research about it. Feel free to always look up resources on the internet, listen to different podcasts, read books on it. Even if you feel like you're not a people pleaser, there could be those around you that you care about, and you see that kind of behavior, and it's not quite a worrying thing. I mean, it could be, depending on, that individual's mental health and all that stuff. But yeah, check up on those around you for sure. Make sure that that you're worthy, that they're worthy as well, and deserving of all these great things, deserving of love and care and compassion and respect. So yeah, guys, I hope that was a good episode. If you learned something new, that's awesome, whether it's for yourself or just in general. But I really enjoyed this topic. I hope we have more topics from you guys. So if you have any anonymous questions or topics or suggestions, be sure to go to the retrospring.net/MYC Uncensored, link in the description. And as I said, anonymous, so we won't know who sent it in. And if you want to follow us and keep updated with us, all the information is in the description. And I hope I'll see you in another episode. Bye.